You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Nuts are healthy. Eat more nuts. But what if I told you that one specific nut, the one that's in almost every trail mix and snack bar, might actually shorten your life if you eat it regularly? Sounds unbelievable, right? Scientists have been quietly warning about its hidden dangers, not because it's full of fat or calories, but because of what's inside that fat. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover which nut it is, what it really does to your body after 50, and how you can protect your heart, your liver, and even your brain before it's too late. Stay with me till the end. You'll be surprised which healthy snack could actually be hurting you. The healthy trap. You know that feeling when you've been doing something for years because everyone said it was good for you, and then one day you find out it might not be so harmless after all. That's exactly what's happening with some of the so-called healthy foods we've trusted for decades, and one of the biggest traps hides right in our snack bowls. For years, nutrition experts, food companies, and advertisements have repeated the same message: eat nuts. They're good for your heart. They're full of good fats. They'll help you live longer. And to be fair, that's partly true. Nuts do contain valuable nutrients, vitamin E, magnesium, and plant-based protein. But what often gets lost in this simple message is that not all nuts behave the same way inside your body. Some of them have a completely different chemical structure, and that structure can quietly tip your health in the wrong direction, especially after 50. Let's talk about why this happens. Your body runs on a delicate balance between two families of fats, omega-3 and omega-6. Both are essential, meaning you need them for your cells, your hormones, and your brain. But here's the catch: these two fats must stay in harmony. Too much omega-6 compared to omega-3 is like having the gas pedal stuck while the brakes barely work. It pushes your body toward chronic inflammation, the kind that doesn't hurt right away but slowly wears you down over time. Inflammation itself isn't evil. It's how your body heals injuries or fights off infections. The problem comes when that switch never turns off. After 50, your immune system becomes more reactive, your repair mechanisms slow down, and your arteries start to stiffen. In that environment, every bit of excess inflammation adds more pressure on your heart, your joints, and even your brain cells. Now imagine adding to that a daily dose of certain healthy fats that quietly fan that flame. That's what happens when the omega-6 fats start dominating your diet. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Some nuts, those we often eat by the handful, are loaded with omega-6. Each serving might look innocent, but it shifts your fatty acid ratio in the wrong direction. You might not feel anything today. No pain, no dizziness, no warning signs. But deep inside, your body begins to change. The inner lining of your blood vessels becomes more sensitive. Tiny inflammatory molecules, called cytokines, keep circulating longer than they should. Your cholesterol particles oxidize more easily, making them stick to the walls of your arteries. And little by little, the protective effect you expected from your healthy snack starts to reverse. That's the irony of modern nutrition. We live in a world where information travels fast, but context gets lost. When scientists first discovered the benefits of nuts, they were mostly studying walnuts and almonds, foods naturally rich in omega-3 and monounsaturated fats. But the food industry saw an opportunity. They replaced those expensive nuts with cheaper options that look and taste similar but have a completely different nutritional profile. People still hear the word nuts and assume they're all equal. Unfortunately, your body can tell the difference, even if the label doesn't. Let's make this concrete. When you eat a nut that's high in omega-6 and very low in omega-3, your cells absorb that fat and use it to build new membranes. Those membranes become more sensitive to oxidation and stress. Over time, that influences everything, from how your heart pumps to how your brain handles memory and mood. For someone in their 20s, the body might adapt, but past 50, the repair process slows, and the damage accumulates faster than your cells can keep up. That's why we call it the healthy trap. It's not about eating bad food, it's about eating the wrong kind of healthy food too often, without realizing its long-term effect. You see, health advice is rarely one size fits all. What helps a teenager gain energy might hurt a 60-year-old heart. Our metabolism, hormones, and liver function all change with age. And those changes mean that balance, the quiet harmony of fats, proteins, and micronutrients, matters more than ever. Here's something I often tell my patients. It's not just what you eat. It's how your body processes it now. After 50, your body becomes less tolerant of extremes, too much sugar, and your insulin spikes last longer, too much omega-6, and inflammation lingers for days. It's like driving an older car. You can still go anywhere, but you need cleaner fuel and gentler handling. So before we even talk about which nut is the real culprit, it's important to understand this foundation. Because once you know how the balance of fats works, everything else starts to make sense. The nut we'll discuss next has become the poster child for this imbalance. It's affordable, addictive, and found in almost every kitchen. And yet, it may quietly undo years of healthy habits without you realizing it. That's the danger of the healthy trap. It doesn't announce itself with a warning sign. It just hides behind a reputation for being good, until the evidence tells a very different story. Meet the culprit. You've probably guessed it by now. The so-called nut that causes the most trouble isn't really a nut at all. It's the peanut, the humble, familiar, everywhere peanut. It hides in our favorite snacks, breakfast spreads, sauces, and even cooking oils. Most of us have eaten it our whole lives without a second thought, but when you look closer, the peanut has a story that's far less innocent than it seems. Let's start with the basics. Peanuts grow underground, not on trees like almonds or walnuts. That means they belong to the legume family, the same family as beans and lentils. So right from the beginning, their nutritional structure is different. They're rich in protein, yes, but the type of fat they carry is where the problem begins. Peanuts are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, especially a form called linoleic acid. Now, as we said before, you need some omega-6. It plays a role in energy and cell repair. But in a modern diet, especially after middle age, we already get far too much of it. Peanuts simply add fuel to the fire. Think of your body as a finely tuned orchestra. Omega-3 fats from foods like fish, walnuts, and flax are the calming violins that keep the melody smooth. Omega-6 fats, when balanced, add rhythm and energy. But when the drums drown out the violins, the whole symphony becomes chaos. That's what happens inside your cells when peanuts dominate your snack routine. Here's the science made simple. Linoleic acid from peanuts gets built into your cell membranes. Those membranes then become more sensitive to oxidation, meaning they rust faster under stress. When that happens, your body releases more inflammatory signals. That's why people who eat a lot of peanut products often experience higher levels of inflammation markers in their blood, even if they feel perfectly fine day to day. It's a silent, invisible process, but over time, it raises the risk of artery damage, joint stiffness, and even cognitive decline. Now let's look at how peanuts sneak into your diet. It's not just the handful you eat as a snack. Peanut butter, peanut flour, peanut oil, they're used in countless processed foods because they're cheap and flavorful. That means you might be consuming them several times a day without realizing it. A spoon of peanut butter in the morning, a handful of roasted peanuts in the afternoon, a stir-fry cooked in peanut oil at dinner, suddenly your omega-6 intake has doubled or tripled. And remember, after 50, your metabolism slows, your liver works harder, and your antioxidant defenses drop. That's the perfect storm for chronic inflammation to take hold. Many people say, "But doctor, peanuts have protein and magnesium. Aren't those good for me?" Yes, they are. But the benefit of those nutrients doesn't cancel out the damage from the fat imbalance. It's like putting a vitamin tablet inside a candy bar. The sugar still wins. In the case of peanuts, the downside often outweighs the positives, especially when eaten daily. There's another twist that most people don't know. Peanuts often trigger mild immune responses, even in those who don't have a true allergy. That's because their proteins are unusually resistant to digestion. They can irritate the gut lining, leading to what we call low-grade inflammation. For someone with a strong immune system, the body can handle it. But after 50, when your immune response becomes less precise, that irritation can quietly add to the background noise of inflammation that drives aging. Let's not forget the environment peanuts grow in. Because they mature underground, they're exposed to warm, humid soil, the perfect place for certain molds to develop. These molds can produce toxins called aflatoxins, which we'll discuss in detail in the next section. Even high-quality peanuts can contain traces, and unfortunately, roasting doesn't destroy them completely. That means your peanut butter or roasted snack may contain more than just fat and flavor. It may carry a toxic byproduct that challenges your liver and immune system. The big problem is habit. Most people eat peanuts without thinking because they're cheap, convenient, and satisfying. They fill you up quickly thanks to their fat and protein, and that creamy, salty flavor triggers a sense of comfort and nostalgia. But the very foods that make you feel cozy can also quietly accelerate aging if you don't keep them in check. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. Once you know what's happening inside your body, you can make smarter choices, ones that protect your heart and your brain for years to come. Here's something I tell my patients all the time. The danger isn't in the occasional handful of peanuts. It's in the everyday routine that never gives your body a break. When the same inflammatory fats show up again and again, your body forgets what balance feels like. That's when health issues start creeping in. Higher blood pressure, stiffer joints, slower recovery, cloudy memory. They don't appear overnight, but they grow from habits that feel perfectly normal. So yes, peanuts might seem like harmless little snacks, but for many people over 50, they become the invisible thread tying together fatigue, inflammation, and slower aging recovery. Once you see how much they're part of your diet, it becomes clear why stepping back, even a little, can make such a big difference. In the next part, we'll uncover an even deeper layer of the problem: the invisible toxins that can hide inside peanuts and quietly strain your liver without you ever noticing. That's where the real danger lies, and it's something every adult should know. The hidden danger. Inside. When people hear the word toxin, they usually think of pollution, chemicals, or something artificial added to food. But one of the most dangerous toxins we encounter doesn't come from a factory. It's created by nature itself. It grows quietly, invisibly, right inside one of the most common foods in the world, the peanut. And for many people, especially after 50, this hidden danger can be far more serious than a few extra calories or bad fats. Peanuts grow underground, where warmth and moisture are constant companions. That environment is perfect for a specific type of mold to thrive, a mold that produces a substance called aflatoxin. It's not visible to the naked eye, and it doesn't change the taste or smell of the peanut. You could eat a handful and never suspect a thing. But inside your body, aflatoxin begins a quiet, harmful process that science has been warning us about for decades. Aflatoxin is what we call a mycotoxin, meaning a toxin created by fungus, and even in tiny amounts, it can cause oxidative stress and inflammation in your liver. Your liver is your main detox organ. It filters everything, from medications to alcohol to everyday food residues. After 50, it's already working harder, because liver cells naturally regenerate more slowly with age. Now imagine that organ having to deal with a small dose of aflatoxin every time you enjoy your favorite peanut butter or snack mix. Over time, that adds up. Researchers have found that long-term exposure to aflatoxin is linked with liver cell damage and an increased risk of liver disease. In regions where peanuts are stored in hot, humid conditions, like parts of Asia, Africa, and even southern states in the US, the contamination rates are much higher. Even though food safety regulations try to limit aflatoxin levels, no system is perfect. And because peanuts are used in so many products, oils, spreads, snacks, sauces, small traces can enter your diet more often than you think. Now let's be clear, a single peanut or spoon of peanut butter isn't going to poison you. The real issue is chronic exposure. A little here, a little there, day after day, year after year. That's when aflatoxin quietly starts to do its work. It increases oxidative stress, making your liver produce more free radicals. Those free radicals damage cell membranes and DNA, the very foundation of healthy cell renewal. Your body tries to repair it, but as you age, that repair process slows down. Eventually, the balance tips from healing toward harm. What makes this so concerning is that aflatoxin doesn't just affect the liver. It can also interfere with your immune system and your metabolism. Studies show that people exposed to higher levels of aflatoxin tend to have weaker immune responses, meaning their bodies take longer to recover from infections or fatigue. For someone in their 50s or 60s, that extra strain can make a real difference in how you feel day to day. And unfortunately, roasting doesn't make peanuts completely safe. Many people believe that high heat kills toxins, and that's true for bacteria, but aflatoxin is far more stable. It can survive roasting temperatures and still remain active in the final product. That means even roasted or dry roasted peanuts or peanut butter made from them may still contain trace amounts. If you've ever noticed that peanut butter can stay fresh for months, even years, without refrigeration, that's partly because of the fats it contains. And those same fats make a perfect home for toxins that resist breakdown. The longer the peanuts are stored, especially in warm conditions, the higher the risk of contamination. Here's another point to consider. Your body doesn't eliminate aflatoxin easily. It binds to proteins in the liver, where it can stay for long periods, causing slow, cumulative damage. And since the early stages of liver stress don't cause pain or visible symptoms, you wouldn't know it's happening until the effects have built up over time. That's why, for older adults, even small amounts can have a greater impact than they would in younger years. Now you might wonder, isn't someone testing for this? Yes, in most developed countries, food agencies do check aflatoxin levels, but testing can't catch everything. Contamination happens unevenly. One batch may be clean, another slightly higher. And peanuts imported from regions with weaker controls can still reach your table. That's why relying purely on regulation isn't enough. The real protection comes from choosing your foods wisely and understanding where the risks lie. So what can you do? If you truly enjoy peanuts, buy them in small quantities, store them in a cool, dry place, and avoid brands that taste bitter or have an off smell. That's often a sign of mold growth. Better yet, consider switching to nuts that don't have this problem at all, like almonds or macadamias. They not only have safer fat profiles, but also a far lower risk of contamination. Your liver will thank you, especially as you get older. In my practice, I've seen many patients improve their energy, digestion, and even skin quality simply by cutting out peanut products for a few months. When they replace them with cleaner, safer sources of healthy fat, the difference is remarkable. It's one of those small, simple changes that can quietly extend the quality and length of your life. So yes, the danger inside peanuts isn't dramatic or visible. It doesn't make headlines or taste bitter enough to warn you. But it's real, it's measurable, and it works slowly, year after year. The good news, once you understand it, you can protect yourself completely. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next. What really happens in your body over time when you make peanuts a daily habit, and how those invisible changes add up. What happens over time? At first, nothing seems wrong. You enjoy your peanut butter toast, your handful of roasted peanuts, your stir-fry cooked in peanut oil, and everything feels fine. You have energy, your blood tests look normal, and life goes on. But inside your body, a quiet chain reaction begins. It's not dramatic, it's slow, subtle, and easy to ignore, until the effects become too big to miss. Every time you eat peanuts, your liver processes their fats and deals with any traces of toxins. In small doses, that's no problem. The liver is a remarkable organ. But as months and years go by, constant exposure to omega-6 fats and potential aflatoxins forces it to work harder and harder. Picture it like a filter that never gets a break. At first, it stays clean. But over time, it clogs little by little. The more it clogs, the less efficiently it removes what your body doesn't need. This buildup of internal stress shows itself in different ways. You might feel more tired than usual. You may notice that recovery after meals, workouts, or illness takes longer. Some people describe a dull heaviness in the upper abdomen after eating fatty foods. That's often the liver saying, "I need a rest." The problem is, the warning signs are so gentle that most people dismiss them until more noticeable issues appear. High cholesterol, blood sugar instability, or joint inflammation. Let's break down what's happening on a cellular level. Those omega-6 fats from peanuts, especially linoleic acid, become part of the outer layer of every cell. When that layer is built with too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, it becomes fragile and easily damaged by oxygen and stress. Each damaged cell sends a signal for help, an inflammatory message. Your immune system responds, releasing more molecules to fix the problem. That's normal, once in a while, but when it happens daily, the body never gets to turn off the repair process. And that's what we call chronic inflammation, the silent fire that burns beneath almost every age-related condition. Over time, this inflammation begins to influence your arteries. Tiny micro-injuries appear in the vessel walls. Your body patches them with cholesterol, trying to keep things smooth. But the more inflammation you have, the more patches it creates. That's how plaques form, leading to reduced blood flow and higher blood pressure. You don't feel it directly. There's no pain, no clear symptom, but your heart gradually has to work harder. And when you add age, genetics, and modern stress to the mix, the risk compounds. Your joints feel the impact too. Inflamed fatty acids don't stay in one place. They circulate throughout your body. They can make joint tissues swell slightly and slow down collagen repair. That's why many people over 50 who love peanuts start noticing stiffer knees, shoulders, or fingers, even without arthritis. The body simply loses some of its natural balance between inflammation and recovery. Now let's return to the liver, the hero behind the scenes. As aflatoxins accumulate over years, the liver cells that handle detoxification, called hepatocytes, start to lose efficiency. They regenerate more slowly. They produce fewer antioxidants, like glutathione, which protect you from aging. This subtle decline means your body's ability to neutralize everyday toxins, from air pollution to processed food, becomes weaker. It's not a dramatic failure, just a quiet fading of strength. Some studies suggest that people with high long-term exposure to aflatoxins also have higher levels of oxidative stress throughout the body. That's the same process linked with premature aging of skin, eyes, and blood vessels. In other words, the peanut habit may not only affect your organs, it may literally show on your face, your energy levels, and your clarity of thought. The brain isn't immune either. When your body is in a state of chronic inflammation, certain inflammatory molecules can cross the blood-brain barrier. That influences memory, concentration, and even mood. That's why many adults over 50 notice subtle changes, more foggy mornings, more fatigue after meals. They rarely suspect that their everyday snack could be contributing. The body is incredibly resilient, but it depends on balance. Once that balance tilts, even slightly, the decline speeds up, and peanuts, with their high omega-6 load and potential for toxins, quietly tilt the scale in the wrong direction. The result isn't immediate illness. It's an acceleration of processes that were already waiting to happen. Think of it as gently pushing the fast-forward button on aging. Now, here's the hopeful part. The moment you reduce peanut consumption, your body begins to recover. Within weeks, inflammation markers start to drop. Within months, liver enzymes often improve, and people report lighter digestion, steadier energy, even better sleep. That's the beauty of the human body. It forgives quickly once you stop overwhelming it. So, what happens over time depends entirely on your choices today. If you continue to feed the inflammation cycle, the damage grows quietly. But if you give your body cleaner fuel, fats from walnuts, almonds, or olive oil, it responds with strength, clarity, and vitality. Age doesn't have to mean decline. It just requires wiser maintenance. In the final part, we'll talk about exactly that. The healthier choices that can replace peanuts and truly support your heart, brain, and longevity. Because the goal isn't to fear food, it's to understand it well enough to make it work for you, not against you. Healthier choices that help you live longer. Most people feel a little uneasy after hearing how something so familiar can work against them. The good news is, your body is forgiving. Once you understand what it needs, it starts to respond almost immediately. And the answer isn't to give up nuts altogether. It's to choose the ones that truly protect you instead of harming you. Let's talk about how to do that wisely. First, remember this simple principle. Balance beats extremes. You don't need to fear every gram of fat. What matters is the type of fat and how it interacts with your age, hormones, and metabolism. After 50, your body needs fats that calm inflammation, support your heart, and nourish your brain. That means foods rich in omega-3 and monounsaturated fats, the kind that smooth your blood vessels and lower stress hormones naturally. The first and most powerful choice is the walnut. Walnuts are often called brain food, and that nickname is more accurate than most people realize. They contain alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 that helps reduce inflammatory markers and supports healthy blood flow to the brain. Many of my older patients who replace peanuts with a small handful of walnuts a day notice real changes: fewer afternoon energy crashes, clearer focus, and even better sleep. Walnuts also contain polyphenols, plant compounds that protect your arteries from oxidative stress. Think of them as tiny shields that line your blood vessels. Next on the list are almonds. Almonds provide mostly monounsaturated fat, the same kind found in olive oil. This fat helps raise your good cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and support the elasticity of your skin and blood vessels. They're also rich in magnesium, which plays a quiet but vital role in heart rhythm and nerve function. If you ever crave that same satisfying crunch you got from peanuts, lightly roasted almonds can easily take their place. Just remember, unsalted or lightly salted is best, since extra sodium adds unnecessary pressure on your circulation. Then we have the Brazil nut, one of nature's most concentrated sources of selenium. Selenium acts like a natural antioxidant switch that turns on your body's defense systems. It helps your thyroid, your immune response, and even your mood. But because Brazil nuts are so rich in it, you only need 1 or 2 a day, not a handful. That small amount gives you what your body needs without overdoing it. This is a perfect example of how less but better works far more effectively than more of the same. If you want a nut that truly pampers your heart, go for macadamia nuts. They're high in monounsaturated fats and very low in omega-6. That means they don't feed inflammation at all. Their creamy texture makes them an excellent replacement for peanut butter. You can find pure macadamia spreads in health stores or make your own by blending roasted nuts with a little olive oil. It's smooth, rich, and heart-friendly. For those who enjoy variety, hazelnuts are another wonderful choice. They contain vitamin E, which supports skin and eye health, and a unique combination of antioxidants that work with your liver enzymes to remove toxins. Adding a small portion to your morning oatmeal or yogurt is an easy way to keep your cells young and resilient. But choosing the right nuts is only half the story. How you store and eat them matters too. Always buy smaller batches so they stay fresh. Keep them in a cool, dry place, preferably in a glass jar or airtight container. Rancid fats, the kind that form when nuts sit for months in warm air, can create their own oxidative stress in the body. Freshness is as important as the type of nut itself. When it comes to nut butters, read the labels carefully. Look for versions that list only one ingredient, the nut itself. No hydrogenated oils, no added sugars, no stabilizers. These additives make the texture smoother, but take away the health benefits you're aiming for. A true almond or walnut butter might separate a bit in the jar. That's natural. Just stir it and enjoy. Your body will thank you. And don't forget, nuts are powerful because they're concentrated. A small handful, about the size of your palm, is enough. Too many, even of the healthy kind, can still overload your daily calories.
Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24 часа назад в аэропорту Майами. Самолет Аэрофлота готовился к вылету в Москву. По трапу поднимался солидный, узнаваемый всеми. Все началось 24